Hello and welcome to Witchy Wellness Radio. I'm your host, Lauren Chalantani, women's holistic health coach and fellow recovering perfectionist. This podcast was created to show you that your body is not in the way, it is actually leading your way. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Witchy Wellness. And again, I am your host, Lauren Chalantani, and you are listening to episode 75, Sit with Abundance with Anna Gala. And today's episode is just obviously all about abundance, which is my all-time favorite thing. Abundance for me is not just money, it's an abundance of life, abundance of time, freedom, expansion, if I had a word, abundance would be my only word I would use. And I had to laugh when I was editing this episode earlier this week. I was actually doing some abundance work on my own self and journaling. And I look down at my desk and I see this little play gold coin, like children's money. And it brought me back to this memory. I was at a meditation retreat. And I'm at the hotel at the conference center, and the elevator door opens. There's this guy there, all dressed up, has his team's colors on. These meditation events, everybody has a mascot of an animal and then a color, and everybody gets super into it. Super nerdy. I was a magenta unicorn, so y'all know I represented. But anyway, this guy had this stuffed whale. And there's a few other people in the elevator. Doors open. I get in, and he's holding this whale. And as he's opening the whale's mouth, he goes, "Say yes to abundance?" The gold coin appears in the whale's mouth. And I was like, why, yes, I'll say yes to abundance. So, side story, I said yes to abundance. I do it every day. And you'll get to hear in this episode, Anna and I nerd out. And I love that she does this too. Anytime her or her clients find a penny or anything, on the street or just in the laundry or whatever, you pick it up and you go, abundance! Because you know what? The more you respect somebody in your life, they're going to respect you. The same thing happens with money. The same thing happens with abundance. If you're going to disrespect it or say, that's just a penny, then you are holding yourself back from a floodgate of abundance. But anyway, I digress. I have to share, funny little side stories. I'm so excited for this interview today. It is jam-packed with all things business, alignment, abundance, obviously. But we talk about Anna's journey in depth and how she went from anxiety attacks to fast forwarded, now helping soulpreneurs. And how do you rewrite your own money mindset? Hint, it starts with an awareness. Debunking your own abundance and money mistruths. Getting into a high frequency state. Why rushing out the door in the morning is actually keeping you in lack. Is it an upper limit problem or a lack of self-discipline? Manifesting magic. Why, and a perfectionist here wants to, but why you cannot plan and predict it out. Declaration and proclamation. This is like putting your order in with the universe. Why even finding a penny on the street is abundance? Yes, it is. And how to work with Anna and become your own sister. And so much more. I'm so excited for you guys to listen to episode 75, Sit with Abundance with Anna Gala. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Witchy Wellness Radio. This is a show where you get to learn that your body is not in your way, but actually leading your way. And today, I'm so excited to talk all things abundance and money mindset with Anna Gala. She is a soulful business coach who helps coaches and soulpreneurs get out of the one-on-one hustle, build a boss mindset, and earn an income changing lives with less of their time being traded for money. I think anybody listening is going to love this. So sign me up. Welcome to the show, Anna.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
So we were talking off air about manifesting. And I was like, oh, I have a good story for you. I haven't really told my dog manifestation story yet, but I'm sure I will once this airs. And same goes with abundance, right? It's just manifesting or generating or tuning into that, if you will. And I know this is not something you just wake up one day and you're like, I'm going to be abundant today. There is a lot of, what to work through. You're in your own way in these situations. So I would love to just kick off this conversation kind of, how did you get to be doing the work you do today? Because I know you started off being more of a wellness or like meditation holistic practitioner, and now you help people build their own businesses. So I would just love to hear the whole journey, please.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I built the brand Sit with Anna from, yeah, just that, the idea of helping others through anxiety, through meditation and through mindfulness. And, then it shifted into mindset and self-empowerment as it does. And as I was then like getting more one-on-one interest and things started to pick up and I was getting some features and like things just started to organically unfold, that I kind of turned back and realized I'm like, oh, I've built something kind of successful here. That's awesome. But it's interesting because, the universe always guides us to where we need to be, that other sister soulpreneurs and coaches or wellness, wellpreneurs were reaching out asking me for tips and advice, like what are you doing this or how are you doing that? And it just organically turned into me working with other coaches. And, at the beginning it was focused on like the mindset piece, for them and turning into, turning their business more into like an abundant business through their mindset. And then I worked with a coach. And, as coaches do, they help to guide you in an even more aligned direction. And even though it was already organically happening, I did have a little bit of resistance to like really niching down. I think a lot of people have that kind of resistance. And after some persuading, I decided to fully jump into the niche of focusing solely on, the other fellow like-minded soulpreneurs, impact-driven entrepreneurs, and help them to build their business in a really holistic way. And I know you're all about the holistic stuff too, and really looking at not just like the strategy, but looking at like the human being behind the strategy and really nurturing and cultivating an abundant space within the person as well as with the business, because the business really is just an extension of us, so really being able to nurture your inner world to get the desired outer reality that you want in your business was a really key element that, I'm very passionate about talking about.
Yeah. If anybody wants to go through like a self-help, spiritual, emotional, physical, mental, all of the olds journey, I have found that, the entrepreneurial journey might be for you. Things come up and you don't really, and you're the only one getting in the way, and you have to really take a hard look at yourself in a loving way. Right.
For sure.
And yeah, time and time again, I'm always amazed, like, wow, could have let that false belief just, tag along for the rest of, I don't know how long, but now I'm like, all right, let's sit back and take a look at this. And in terms of abundance and that money mindset type of, if we're going to niche down to that, we all want abundance.
Yeah.
Yet somewhere in us, maybe we don't think we're good enough. We've never had it. Our family's never had it. Whatever the false belief is, what's step one when helping with somebody to kind of get over this and start to be able to move towards that abundance and knowing that it is there for them if they want it?
Yeah, there's so many different layers to this, as you know. And, I say this all the time, is just, step one is always awareness. If you want to rewrite your money mindset story, or if you want to rewrite your abundance story, you have to really come to terms with, and honest terms, of what your current money story is. because you can't change something that you're not really aware of. And so leaning into that space and just getting really honest with like, when I see other people succeed, how do I feel? When I look at my bank account, what do I feel? When I think of making more money, how do I feel? When I think of getting a lot more money, how do I feel? Like, what comes up for you? Is there guilt? Is there greed? Is there feeling like you're not going to be a spiritual or a good person? Is there jealousy? Is there, like, there's so many different things that happen within us, but we discount them, or we don't really look at them as the factor that's keeping us away from more abundance. And so really just uncovering and diving into the why. The why are you where you are now? Why are you where you are now? And once you have that honesty and you've, looked at yourself in the mirror and realize all the narratives and the stories and the limitations that you have up to this point, and to add to that, where they came from, because they weren't yours. They were never yours. Ever, ever, ever yours. And when we can go back into the subconscious mind and prompt these questions, like, when was the first time I picked up the belief that money was associated with struggle? Or when did I pick up the belief that money was the root of all evil? Or when did I pick up the belief that money is hard to make and harder to keep? When did, like, they came from something in our earlier formative years, obviously. And then we just kept looking for evidence to make that true in the way that we acted. As soon as something happened, we're like, see, that money is hard to make and harder to keep. See, I am bad with money. See, I'll never be able to make more than this. See, there's a glass ceiling. See, everybody's again, like, there's so many things that we keep looking for evidence to prove to be true because we feel safe in that truth or in that knowing, not comfortable, but safe. So right when we start to unlayer that, what are they? Where did they come from? And we can realize that, oh shit, these were never actually mine. So wait, what is my truth? What is my abundance story? What is my true potential? If that's not it, then what is it? And that's when we get to start to rewrite and realign with. And it's not, it's like shifting from the idea that we are seeking abundance and we have to try so hard to get abundance, and really working towards, and this takes time, I understand, but working towards really landing in the truth that we are abundance. We are the same thing. We are simply energy, and money. This, we really put it on this pedestal. It's this crazy abstract thing that it's just a piece of paper and it's just a number in a computer and it's just energy. It's not trying to elude us. It's not trying to run the other direction. It's not trying to like seep out of our bank account. It's just a frequency. And if we can land in the real truth that there is no beginning or end, or there is no disconnect between us and abundance, we are the exact same thing. And really living in that place of faith and trust and taking aligned action for sure, and understanding, some of the mechanics behind manifestation. But yeah, so just awareness from where and then what your truth is would be a long-winded answer to that question.
But beautiful, but beautiful. Yeah, I know so many of us who get, into the wellness world or following any of their passions or their bliss, right? Mm-hmm. And we're just really heart-centered, creative people who want to make a difference. And then when this whole money thing, like we said, it's just energy. That's all it is. There's all these stories wrapped around it mm-hmm. that, you followed your intuition to get to this point, to lead you to, what inspires you, what lights you up. And I'm always amazed at like how money is just so, I don't want to say vilified. It's just like this fear-based thing for some people. And for me, it's funny because some of the deepest meditations I've done recently have been around abundance and the freedom and just the expansiveness of that vibration. Yeah. And you kind of touched on this before. It's like this concept of unity consciousness, or We are the same thing of the money, of that frequency of money, and you just tune into that and you become that frequency. You can feel it's not about the money. How how do I feel in that frequency right now? It's not when I have a huge bank account.
Yeah.
It's not that if then. It's how do we tune into that now? And that's a moment to moment thing for me, but what do you do to kind of tune into that frequency? Because these are like catchphrases that you hear all over the interwebs and these communities. And I know you and I have probably each and everybody has their own way to do these things. But how do you help people, or maybe what in your own practice, how do you tune into that frequency and stay on track?
Yeah, this can be done in a gazillion different ways. And people think that it's so limited to like, okay, I have to do step one. I'm going to do step one of the manifestation process. And then we're going to do step two. And when that's complete, I'll do step three. And it's so much more fluid than that. And personally, I mean, obviously we know that since money is a frequency and abundance is a high frequency, then we need to get ourselves into a high frequency state. What does that mean? That means, I feel good. It doesn't need to even be like joy, bliss, ecstasy. Obviously, that's fantastic. But you don't have to like jump to think I'm only able to get abundance when I'm in that place. But being in a place that you feel good is more inviting for more things that feel good. And abundance, again, is not just money, it's health, wealth, and happiness. And they're all the same. One is not different from the other. It's just a place of alignment. And so you can have all of those things and it comes from the same, frequency, that frequency of that faith and that trust and that ease and that relief and that, the lack of forcefulness and thinking that I have to like do, and I have to be super like task oriented and goal oriented and like really be, hustling so hard just to make enough to survive, let alone enough to thrive. And so the way that I tap into that frequency, just to throw that catchphrase out there one more time, the way that I do that is, in a bunch of different ways. Morning magic, which is what I call it, morning magic rituals, are non-negotiable for me. Because if I want my day to show up for me, I have to show up for my day. And that starts in the morning. And, I was doing it, quote unquote, the wrong way for a really long time, which was get up begrudgingly after hitting my snooze about 10 times, go straight to my phone, check messages, check Instagram, check emails, check Instagram again. And then, get up quickly, like, wash my face, brush my teeth, throw on something, run out the door, kind of vibe. And, things weren't really that great back then. Like things were okay. Like, there was things going my way. But when I heard a quote, and I will never, like this quote still rocks me to this day, from Brendan Burchard, he said, "Show me what the first hour of your day looks like, and I'll tell you what kind of person you are." I was like, oh my God. Like that landed with me so intensely because I was already like a coach at the time, a meditation coach. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. I hear you. And ever since then, my morning routine has grown and evolved and continues to expand. And I teach this right away, like in the beginning of my programs. And it's a mandatory prerequisite to living an abundant life. To have ritual and to have time that you are, holding this sacred space for yourself to be still, to check in. If you want to tune into the frequency of abundance, you have to tune into yourself. You can't expect the external to change and shift and grow and evolve if you are not checking in and tuning into the internal. It doesn't reverse engineer that way. It's, inside out, not outside in. Although we really, we say, when I get this, I'll feel this way, or when I move, or when I buy that house, or when I, whatever, will feel this way. And I was speaking with a friend today, actually, and I said, it's so interesting because, saying now that like I am successful and I am abundant and I am have, making X amount per month or have helping this many people. And I remember hearing other people say that and thinking, oh, well, it's easy for you to say that you're abundant because you have all this money. But then I sat with myself today as I was having this conversation with my friend, and I was like, I am not saying it because I'm there. I'm there because I've been saying it well before I landed here. And so really want to plant that seed with everybody. But yeah, morning magic rituals, really tuning in with yourself, getting still, processing, anything that's come up for you, moving your body, gratitude, obviously, affirmations, getting clear on what your day is going to look like, really just setting yourself up for success and having fun with it. Movement can be a dance party in your underpants. It could be whatever you want it to be. I mean, it doesn't have to be so formed and serious. It can be more fluid and just like, what does my body want right now? And just doing that. But whatever that is, the first hour of your day, setting yourself up for that abundant, successful day right from the beginning is a huge contributor to my success today, like hands down. And I see it with my clients every day. They message me like, okay, a week into committing to my morning magic, this happened. Or even just like the feeling like, oh my God, I'm feeling so much more calm, so much more grounded, so much more focused, which I mean, those three things a lot of people are looking for nowadays. And let alone the magic and the abundance that comes in after you've decided to feel magic and abundant right from the morning. And so that, and then of course, I mean, it's just the work comes in when we're checking in with our mindset throughout the day. If you're about to do something that's making you feel something, irky, and you're like, okay, well, why am I feeling this way? So just checking in with mindset, checking in with yourself throughout the day. The people who you surround yourself with, what you choose to consume, whether that's, from internet, from the internet, from Instagram, from the news, hopefully no news, but yeah, like just really being aware of like what you have in your surroundings as well, because they're always a contributor to what your frequency and what your energy and what your beliefs are and what your potential is. And there's, again, a million other moving parts, but those are some of the key ones that I'm really aware of on a daily basis.
Yeah, for me, that's pivotal. Like when I don't get up and create my day, I've been actually really struggling. I told Anna off air, we just got a dog a few weeks ago. And, we were, single people without any kids, and we have our dog now. And, we get up early, like 4:30, 5 o'clock, sometimes 5:30. And, my partner, he usually gets up and goes to the gym right away because that's how he finds his alignment. I can't move right away. I gotta like ease in and tune in to like my mystic mama. Like I gotta meditate first. But we gotta take turns. Like she's not at a point yet where when she wakes up, she's ready to go.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it has been a struggle. I mean, like trying to find the time for each of us to get our own groove in and make sure, it's a partnership at work here, people. But it's been reminding me like, oh my God, like the days that it doesn't work out, or just like the world just feels like it's slapping me in the face, pushing me, it just, everything feels uphill. And I'm reminded of a quote. I don't even know who said it, but it's, you don't see the world how it is. You see the world how you are.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what you're saying here is like, if you don't take care of your own ish in the morning and you are the creator of your day, doesn't matter. The same thing can happen, but you're going to react differently because you are seeing the world in a different perspective. It's like I want to see, not a better one, not a higher one, a different one, maybe different aspect or more aspects than you would have seen the truth to begin with. And it's, so we're working on that one. I was able to do a 45-minute yoga class today and a little bit of
Wow.
shavasana. I meditate for an hour plus, get some movement in on top of that, and I'm like, we're working on it, people. Once you get there, and I'm like, oh, I didn't, it's so hard for me to get over myself to get to this point where I'm like, I'm awake. I want to build my day, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful blessing. But point of this is, I'm thankful we have a dog. I manifested her, and which leads me into this next thing. It's like you put this abundance out into this your want to manifest abundance or whatever in your life, and you let it go, you surrender, and you tune into what that feels like day to day. And I'm reminded now, once you get it's not like you can just stop being that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you stop being that abundant person now, or when we're trying to get to this point in your own entrepreneurial journey, you have to continuously be that and show up for that. And for this dog, we have to continue to grow and show up as our bigger and bigger selves. And it's like once you manifest something, I've been talking about this past week with my partner. It's like once you manifest something, it's not just like rainbows and butterflies. It's not an if then. You have to show up, and you manifest it to maybe even be a bigger teacher for you to show up to a bigger version of yourself. So I have to throw
Yeah.
that one out there for everybody. We're working through it over here. But we've touched a little bit on this next topic because this is something I'm toying with my own life, is this, taking aligned action, but what I like to call is also pushing myself for this divine discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Because some days I'm like, oh, my movement today is just going to be a nap. Some days I do need just a nap. But some days I'm like, well, you haven't worked out in like a few weeks. You need to move your body. There's some stuck gunk in there. Like, reparent yourself, because we're so programmed for that hustle, right?
Yeah.
Like, the more we work, the better we'll do. But sometimes I feel like there's like this divine discipline or this reparenting that we need to take place in order to get into that aligned place, to take that aligned action. Could you kind of talk? I know it's like very open ended and we can go anywhere with it. So take it how you want to. How do you coach people through that, or maybe even your own experiences with that?
Yeah. What came up for me when you were sharing that was the idea of our upper limit problem. And for anybody who doesn't know what that is, well, one, there's a book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, which every human being on the planet needs to read. But it's the idea that, we have a cap of the amount of love, health, happiness, abundance, like financial abundance, creativity, that we like cap ourselves non-consciously at. And as soon as we kind of go outside of those parameters and are enjoying more love with our partner, or we're enjoying really this blissful, joyful day, or like, whoa, we've just made a whole bunch more money, or like all, these things are happening, that something inside of us, this upper limit problem, will kick in and self-sabotage in whatever creative way that it can find to get us back into the confines of our capacity, the comfort of our capacity. And so when you talk about, divine discipline, and which is, I love that term, by the way, and aligned action, and also being understanding and flexible to like, well, maybe I just need a break, or maybe I just need to do something else. That's different than whatever I had written down on my, to-dos. There's a difference there. The upper limit problem is to bring us back into where we're comfortable. And, things like this can show up. Like one of the ways that it showed up for me, or I'll tell you a few of the ways real quickly, is I would make a lot more money. And then all of a sudden I just ended up in debt again. I was like, what? How? I was just Like, what just happened? I'm like, more than once, like for it to like, it needed to happen enough times that I realize like, okay, this is obviously a cycle that I need to break, which I have gladly. Um, but I'll make more money and then I'll just start spending on things that like I telling myself I need, but like I don't really. And maybe it's just not the right time for them right now. And I would always get into this mentality of like, but more money is coming, but more is coming. But I'm like, but I kept putting myself in that same financial spot, which kept me in this, you know, make money, no money, make money, no money kind of cycle. And I needed to be aware of that. And that's part of your upper limit problem. Another one is like, let's say you have like a really beautiful day with your partner and then you bicker about something stupid at the end of the day and just ruin the vibe of the entire day. Like you've upper limited, or you're having a lot of success in your business and your relationship is suffering, or the other way around. Like it's like one way or the other. It's going to bring you into the collective, sum of your emotions or your kind of limits. And the reason I bring this up is because when we can distinguish between the difference of, are we self-sabotaging, or is this something that I really do need? Do I need to do or not do? Then we can, really learn to navigate those urges from a more aware and intentional place. And so that's what came up for me really strongly, because really a lot of the times it's just self-sabotaging behavior, really sneaky, cunning, elusive self-sabotaging behavior that doesn't look like it is, because we can justify why we're going to do something, but really it's just self-sabotage, dressed in a nice outfit.
The beautiful bow on top, yes.
Yeah.
What came to mind when you were saying that beautiful response was, there's so much comfort in the known.
Yeah.
So much. And when things start to change, we hit that upper limit, or we're in the middle of change, this unknown factor. And from my experience, maybe other people might feel the same, that's where the divine kind of takes over. That's where the divine lives when I connect to it. It's the unknown. And it's this balance of like tuning into where you want to be in life, or your abundance or your career, whatever. But surrendering into that outcome, surrendering to the how, what, when, why of it all. Mm-hmm. Could you kind of talk to us about, it's aligned action, but also just that big, huge surrender to the known.
Yeah, I think that we are, and this is said with so much love, I think that we're really cocky in thinking that we have all the answers. Like, I'm going to get to this goal and I'm going to tell you exactly how. I'm going to tell you every possibility that this is the way that this goal is going to manifest in my life. We ain't that smart. Okay. Like, we cannot possibly imagine all of the infinite ways that live outside of our radar screen, outside of our scope of potentiality, that this outcome can happen for us or better. And so for us to think that, this like kind of type A control freak kind of like mentality, that I need to know exactly how, or else it's not going to happen. Sometimes your how is not how is not going to let you get there, because you're so fixated on this being the solution or this being the means to get you there. When, if you, like you were saying, are able to say, this is the aligned action that I'm going to take, but I'm going to leave space. I'm going to leave space because I don't know it all. And I can't possibly imagine all the infinite, abundant, magical ways that this could come into my life. So just getting a little bit more humble and knowing that we really don't know that much. We know a lot, but we don't know, like, we really can't say that we know all of the ways. Like, that's just ridiculous. And so, yeah, that, and also what came up for me when you were sharing, about the comforts of the sameness of it all, even if you're uncomfortable there. Something to take into consideration is we're not only comfortable in the known because it's known. And this isn't just like your financial situation. This is like the way you think, the way you feel, the way you act, the way that you are in relationships, the way that you are with friendships, the way that you're like, all of it is, this hardwired part of us. We're also addicted to the chemical feelings. And so if it's anger, if it's jealousy, if it's rage, if it's, feeling helpless or victimized, whatever the feeling is, jealousy, we are addicted to those feelings. If if you think about just the neuropeptides that are released for whatever that emotion is, if you've felt that emotion for 10, 20, 30 plus years, that's been in your body a lot. And if you can think of that as just a substance, just with like any other drug that you can get addicted to, if that substance is in your body, it has to be out of your body for long enough that you aren't craving it and that you're not trying to find ways to get it. And so we are physiologically, neurologically, like addicted to some of these feelings. So it's like you have to like go on a detox, you have to become aware that there's a problem here. And once you have created some awareness, have created some, a healing space, or done whatever you need to do to like kind of break the cycle of that addiction to that feeling, and you start to replace it with something healthier, then the longer that you're, getting into this healthy routine, that when these feelings come up, they're going to feel very different, and they're going to feel like repulsive. You're going to be like, oh my God, what is that? Like, you're going to get anxiety over it. You'll be like, this is not me. And so we have to really understand that it's not just that we're comfortable, it's that we're legitimately addicted to feeling these feelings, and really, really needing to honoring the process and the patience with yourself to take steps forward. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that and heal and pivot and shift and realign and reprogram, but just that level of patience. So yes, like it's, take the leap and do the thing and da 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 da. But also have like a gentleness with yourself that like, maybe you will have that thought again. Maybe you will have that feeling again. Maybe you will react that way again. And that is more set to remind you of who you don't want to be and who you don't want to show up as and what you don't want to feel. And just being gentle with yourself in the process, not thinking like, I'm spiritual. Why did I just get angry? Like, it fucking happens. But just the more that you get into this kind of higher frequency regimen, that the less that you'll allow some of these kind of lower frequency feelings. Neither is good or bad, but just higher frequency, lower frequency. So yes, identify what your comforts are and which ones are helping or hindering, and then be gentle with the process, but do it actively. Like, you can't say like, I want to change and then not do anything about it. That's not how any addiction is, is beat or changed. And so aligned action, divine discipline, that kind of thing, and a patience with yourself in the process as well.
Yep, 100%. And kind of a deeper explanation into the unknown for me, that process of change and breaking those chemical, neurological, emotional bonds is being in the unknown, trying to start to reprogram to those better feelings, those healthier habits, better people you surround yourself with, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's that unknown is like that. Ooh, I could go either way. I know I don't want to go back this way, and I don't know how to get this, just like this feeling. That's okay. That's okay. And one little story that popped in my head, it's an upper limit problem, but a few years ago when I started, I definitely manifested my partner, did a lot of self-work on relationships, but I made this declaration to myself, this promise, which I think, this is what I want to talk about next, is the power of declaring and making a decision with a greater will than what created the problem or what you didn't like in your life that you want to change.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got out of a bad relationship that was one of my greatest teachers. And I became who I am today because of that. I saw a mirror and I said, I don't want to be like this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Changed. And I told myself, I don't care if I'm 86 years old. When I find my life partner, it's worth it. They're here, they are alive right now. I'm going to let the universe surprise me, right? Surprises are good too. But when I took this commitment to myself to do that work, to heal, to show up, to become that person, be careful, because sometimes the universe will surprise you in a shorter amount of time than you expect. But we got, we're in the relationship. We were about a year in when this came up, and I was like, oh my God, I have this upper limit that I have to be unhappy in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, whoa, everything's great. And it pops up, and you're like, oh, right, okay. And doing the divine discipline to let go of those programs, completely worth it. But bringing it back to what I want to talk to next is this decision, right? Okay, anybody can say, I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to help people, or I want to create a more abundant life. But can you talk about that, like the almost like the tapas or the willpower, like the energetic response to making that declaration?
I love this so much. The declaration and the proclamation is like putting in your order, as opposed to like, I don't know what I want. Maybe this, maybe that. I don't know. Maybe I'll get that next time. Maybe I don't even know if I can do that. The universe is always just responding to what you have a belief in, whatever it is. And you making a proclamation, a declaration, is like setting it in stone and then leaving it to the will and to the divine timing of the universe, and letting go of the how and even the when, in your case, and in many cases, really. But when there is like a surety, then there's like, this is going to happen for me. I'm going to keep doing whatever I need to do. I'm going to keep having fun and feeling good. And I know it will come. I just know. You can get, and then depending on, how you manifest specifically. And there's different, for different energy types and like human design and different ways that maybe you're supposed to specifically manifest. But for example, like being more clear or focusing on the feelings or whatever. But whenever I've made a decision for something and gotten really clear with exactly it, letting go of the how, knowing that I could contribute to the how, but it wasn't the be all end all. Things like, I will be debt free by the end of August. You know what I mean? Like something like knowing, and this has literally happened to me. I said, I'll be debt free by the end of August. Did it make sense? It was $12,000 of debt. Did it make sense based on what I was making? No. And all my expenses and all my whatever. No, it didn't make sense that I would have been able to pay it off at that time. Like 3 days before the end of August. Just the way that the number of clients that I got, the random opportunities that came up to do a speaking gig there, and a return that I got randomly that I didn't even know was going to come in, and somebody sending me money that I forgot that I even lent them. Like these pieces start to move when I'm like, this is happening by this day. Let's go. Thank you, universe. Thank you so much. And one of the things I kept saying was, thank you so much, universe, for helping me pay off this debt by this time. Thank you. Well before it was paid off. and like just like making that proclamation and that declaration that like this is my truth. This is my reality. Now I'm going to let it find me the best way the universe knows how. And there's something again in that really high level of belief. And that might look different for everybody because maybe you're not in the level of belief that you can pay off $12,000 of debt in 3 months. Like maybe that's not where your level of belief is, but maybe you can pay it off in 6 months, a year. You know what I mean? Like you have to also work with what feels believable to you. Be like, I'm going to make $1 million by Friday. Okay, go. And then it's Friday and you're like, universe, what the hell? Like, where's my money? But you have to work, not maybe like a dollar, I'd like to manifest $1. You could start there. If this is new, like start wherever you want. Just say any money. I used to do that. And I used to find like a dime on the ground. I used to literally pick it up and yell out abundance. Like, no, if I was in the street, if I was in like, didn't even matter. I was like, abundance. I would call out any abundance that I possibly could, and started becoming a trend with my clients. We all call it abundance and celebrate different things. But starting where you are, maybe pushing yourself a little bit outside of like, a penny or something, but making a declaration that like, this is my reality. It just hasn't found me in the best possible way it can yet.
And we mentioned this before. It could be the universe could surprise you, and it always, most of the time, is better than you could have even imagined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it's this or better.
Or better.
Yeah, it's not like this is exactly it. It's like, but the universe is like, but I got something way better for you back here. Are you sure you don't want it? Like, you really want just that? I got something real good in the back. And so, this or better.
Yep, this or better. I want to start talking a little bit more about you, because I could talk about all this juicy, abundant stuff. If someone is listening right now and is like, I want to know more about how to work with this lovely lady, what is she all about? How can she help me get on that abundance train and pick up that penny or that check and go, abundance? So how can people find you? How can we work with you? What services do you offer to help with people?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned earlier, I focus with working with Sistar, which is what I call my clients. Sistar entrepreneurs, impact-driven entrepreneurs, soulpreneurs, wellpreneurs, coaches, anybody who's really looking to make a positive impact in the world, and help to not only align your business, but to align your mind and create more abundance in all areas of your life. Obviously, your biz included, but it really is, by osmosis, it just transfers to your entire life, which is like an extra bonus. Through a program, my program is called the Align Method Program, and we align your mind, align your tribe, align your offer, and align your sales, all with mindset, energy, and soulful strategy. And you can come hang out with me at Sit with Anna on Instagram. I talk a lot about all this stuff all the time. Obviously, you can tell I really enjoy talking about it. So you can come and check out lots of value that I have on my Instagram, or sitwithanna.com if you want to look into getting even more aligned with me.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, Anna, for coming on the show today. I can't believe I love doing podcasts and talking with beautiful people like yourself, because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to wrap this show up. We're just in a space where time does not exist.
Yeah, like how is that just as long as it was? It's so crazy. I just looked up and I was like, whoa, where did that go?
I know. Well, was there anything else you wanted to kind of wrap up today before we close the show?
I think what is feeling good to share right now is give yourself permission to celebrate other people's success. When you see somebody have or experience or achieve something that you are longing to or desiring to achieve, celebrate them. Really bless their success or their abundance or their love or their health or their hair or their car or their like whatever it is that you're like, wow, like wouldn't it be nice? By celebrating somebody else's success, not only is that a beautiful gift to them because you're sending them lovely energy, but it's a gift to yourself because you give yourself an even greater level of magnetism to that which you are celebrating. That's all. Just celebrate your fellow sisters and friends and family who are doing awesome things.
Yes, that feels so good. Thank you again so much for coming on the show today. It's such a wonderful time talking all abundance and manifestation, all that lovely stuff, getting into the dirt with it. Thank you for showing up for yourself and for all your other fellow sisters and beautiful souls of this world. And we are so grateful for you. How can we, the listeners and myself, return as an act of gratitude and service for you today?
I think I'll continue off what I had just said is I think that whatever your niche is, this is my challenge to you, and this will be a gift to me because it's a gift to other women, which is then a gift to me because we're all in this together, is find 2 people at a minimum in your niche that you perceive to be competition and promote them. Share one of their posts, tell people about them, and that will unlock an even greater level of abundance for you because you are proclaiming to the universe that there is more than enough to go around and we can all succeed together, and women should absolutely rise together.
Amen. That is so beautiful. Thank you again for coming on the show and blowing my mind. I mean, that last thing, I was like, whoa, mic drop on that call to action, people. Like,
ear pod drop.
Thank you again, Anna.
Thank you.
And remember, open up, surrender, trust, and let your body lead the way.